Hey guys, it's Adam here from Sierra Pacific Group, founder and CEO, as well as the ConnectWise boss. And I am here today again, a little early down here in, it's supposed to be sunny San Diego, but a little overcast today, which is nice, nice cool weather. But I want to bring on my compadre, Sean
Compa-
Lardo.
you know
Mix
what?
it up,
I just want to know,
comrade.
are your parents watching? That's what I want to know because I really want them to start.
Yeah, most likely my mother is probably watching this. She's definitely, and just like your pseudo father is watching this. Just want to give a call out to Keith. So
Really? Now you're just hoping he's on.
just,
Well, good.
just,
Good morning.
just making it
Yeah, good
right.
morning, Adam. How are you today, Adam?
It is really great. I am down here in San Diego doing an executive retreat, which is 3 days of intense planning for the organization, on top of the entire awesome week we had last week. IT Nation Secure, the beginning of the week, end of the week, advisory council at ConnectWise. And I got to say, there is some amazing stuff coming out with ASIO platform, with the integrations and innovations, I should say, at the speed in which the development is happening. It's mind blowing what's going on and what is actually going to be happening here at IT Nation Connect coming up. It's going to be a big show.
I agree. Last week was extremely busy. It was very thought provoking for sure, and the fact that we just keep on growing this conference that was supposed, and it's not the size of Connect, which it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be more intimate for security professionals, right? But I'll tell you what, man, we got a ton of great feedback. I had a good time. I had a lot of great conversations, and I mean, really, it's always good to come down to Florida every now and again.
Yeah, for sure. It was a busy week. I even launched my book, Scaling with
Yeah,
Purpose.
you
So, and
forgot
I
to give
didn't
me
give you a copy. You were, I was like, you didn't want to carry it around. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just hold on to it. So,
that was
you know,
never a conversation.
I, I'm going to have a folded note inside the front cover just for you.
That was never a conversation about the book, except for at the last night. Every other day I saw you had my backpack and baby Carlos, and you didn't help me with any of
Yeah,
that.
baby Carlos. I drank baby Carlos. Sounds weird.
Oh,
Just
thank
somewhere.
you for that.
It's like taking, yeah. Anyway, we
Anyway,
we got some business. We got some business to do here, Sean. We're here for Pitch It, and my stream shows me I'm pixelating.
you're
So
good. Your status quo, and you're frozen. So what Adam's about to ask me about is, hey, what is Pitch It, Sean? And I'm going to go back and refer to the fact that several years back, Jason McGee stood on stage and said, ConnectWise is making three promises: easier to do business with, even more invested in partner growth, and more innovations faster. Well, the fact of the matter is, Adam just mentioned about ASIO and innovations and development, and a core product piece of this is having as many vendors involved as possible, because ASIO will be that hub at the end of the day for not only ConnectWise products, but also integrations into these other vendors that we work with, because it's important and essential for us to make it easy for partners to work with us and try as best we can to look to make that single pane of glass to have them work in their environment. Now, what Pitch It is. Pitch It is exactly a Shark Tank concept competition. This competition will take you through having all kind of startup vendors that we've selected based off of they applied, we vetted them, they qualified, and they will go through a series of 16 weeks of workshops and webinars and live streams up until the preliminaries. There are 27 of these vendors. The preliminaries will take place at the end of August with Matt Solomon on the channel program. We'll do a virtual pitch off for three days of it, actually, because there's so many vendors. We'll pick three finalists. Those three finalists will go to IT Nation Connect, and they will perform on stage. They will pitch on stage to pick whoever's going to win the number one company there is. That first place winner will win $70,000. Second place will win $30,000. Third place, they get the Jelly of the Month Club.
they also got 16 weeks of education. They get to be on this live stream, and you know what? They actually get to practice their pitch. And what I'd like to do now is actually bring on Tim and Matt from Fort Mesa. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Awesome.
Good.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen. Adam's look at the face. Look at Adam's face right there. He looks so happy. Perfect. Adam is the king of I am now loading and thinking and getting there eventually bandwidth issues. So anyway, guys, let's talk about you a little bit. You know, I guess, you know, we can start with Matt there because, you know, you are sort of the guy that founded this all, right?
Yeah, you know, I spent the first half of my career really consulting with MSPs and a little bit of direct enterprise, and creating a cybersecurity practice. You know, as the market heated up, it was really clear that MSPs needed better solutions that worked specifically for their market segment. So thus Fort Mesa was born. And you know, we're here to help MSPs increase their customers' investments in cybersecurity, and we do this by taking insurance, regulator, client security requirements based on standards, and really bringing that into the sales process. And then, of course, also supporting service delivery and evidencing.
So, what made you actually decide to create this, to build this?
Well, you know, as a lot of our audience understands this, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you are a service provider.
Hold on, Matt. Don't say that. Okay. A lot of our audience understands this. There's no guarantee in that, first off.
Okay. So when you're in services, you're in professional services, where I came from, where all of our customers are, you have basically the choice of, do you want to be consultative or do you want to have scalable processes, right? And when it comes to security, you know, the best in class act for many years was be an expert in security and bring it in as a consultation, as an assessment, as an advisory, one time, deep, right, and expensive. And so to take security and really scale that across an MSP model so that it could fit all of your clients, you have to go beyond consulting, right? You have to make that a scalable process. And I felt in my practice, I was unable to do that because the solutions required to do that simply didn't exist. Right. And that was a few years back, and thus the birth story, really.
It's still happening on Excel sheets, right? And SharePoint drives. Like, a lot of companies still do it that way. And if you're billing $1,000, $500 an hour, maybe it makes sense to continue to do it that way. So,
sure, fair, okay. So, no, okay, no, it's not fair.
You want to bill more hours?
Right, exactly. So we know, as if you're consultative, of course you're billing more hours, so it works in your favor to have all this archaic ways of doing things, right? However, if you're a service provider like an MSP is, that's managing multiple, you know, many customers, many endpoints and whatnot, that's not a very scalable option.
Yeah, and even if you want to give some consultation to your clients, how much consultation really will they accept from the perspective of a budget, and will that deliver the security they need, right?
Sure.
So yes, some consultative, but if something is possibly put in software, put into workflows, if it can be pushed out to your technology team, do that, right? And there's a lot of security that can be done with workflow, and a lot of software can take those specialty knowledge areas and extend that into the non-security focused but very technically adept workforce that MSPs have.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So I also just want to put a timeout here because we also have one more guest here. It's unique because we have like two different companies on every week. So Matthew and Tim, I'm going to put you guys in our little waiting room, and I'm going to bring on Ian. Ian, how you doing? You hear us, Ian?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Ian?
There we go.
Yeah, good. So I'm sitting at ConnectWise Evolve in Denver.
Nice.
Relying on hotel Wi-Fi.
That's
not
I
a
imagine
experience right now.
We all know.
I imagine it's probably pretty busy down there in Denver, you know, with the championship and everything.
Oh my, yeah, and also PAX 8 conference happened in Denver too.
Yeah, I'm hearing nothing but that.
PAX 8 Beyond.
So yeah,
back to the apartment through the Denver Nuggets celebrations on Tuesday night, Monday night.
I'm so jealous.
That was awesome.
I'm so jealous. I'm so freaking jealous. Anyway, so
yeah.
Ian, how you doing, man?
Good, John.
So let's talk a little bit about you guys. Who are you and what do you do?
getKambium, we are a SaaS business, and we have a platform that's designed to make it easier for MSPs to sell, and in particular to sell to the changing marketplace where customers expect and need MSPs to provide strategic services and solutions. So getKambium provides the framework to make it easier for MSPs to adapt their people and processes.
Sure.
It gives MSPs the ability to provide the content that enables their buyers to buy and to manage the ongoing client experience with roadmaps, QBRs.
Awesome. Okay. So why did you guys even build this?
We built it, we're a spin out of an MSP. And
Okay.
the MSP was changing. It realized that its marketplace was changing. And they wanted to stop selling boxes and licenses, but to become trusted advisors. So they built a set of tools. We demoed the tools to ConnectWise Evolve meeting in Sydney. And the ConnectWise Evolve guys said, can we have that, please? So our early adopters were the ConnectWise Evolve group.
Oh, good. So you actually have people that are focusing on operational maturity and focus on best practice and processes.
Yeah.
And they found value.
We have a good active user group.
Perfect. I was going to say, yeah. So they found value in what you guys were doing.
Absolutely. We see people logging in, day out, week in, week out, and they're using getKambium to put together their client reports, their client engagement, for new business development, for QBRs. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So as far as how do you guys interlink with ConnectWise then? Other than obviously you're in Evolve and you do those things, but like as far as technology is concerned.
We integrate with ConnectWise. So our key integration is with ConnectWise. So when you're using the getKambium tool and you use the tool to work with your client, to make recommendations to your client, those recommendations are pushed into ConnectWise.
Awesome.
When we use getKambium to do a QBR, we pull from ConnectWise information on assets, tickets. So it's a push-pull integration with ConnectWise.
Awesome. So do I have to work out of your platform or out of ConnectWise, or where do I work out of?
Most people will use getKambium to work on the client engagement part, to develop the report and send the reports to clients. But for the maybe project management and the organization, they'll work with in ConnectWise. Okay.
So a majority of people are going to work right out of ConnectWise and not have to leave that environment.
Yeah, there's no hard and fast rule to this.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually whatever I feel better in.
Yeah. Well, okay. We do different things. So we use getKambium to do the client engagement, get the right data, get the right information, push it into ConnectWise, and then people use ConnectWise Manage to manage the client engagement and the opportunities, and put together proposals. And we also integrate with ConnectWise in the MSPs, integrate with their own catalogs. So they can pull in their catalog into getKambium to do a report.
Perfect. And I think it's important to mention that you are a certified integrator with us.
We are. We've ConnectWise Invent certified.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So I'm going to put a pause to that. Ian, awesome. Appreciate your time. I want to bring back in Tim and Matt Fort Mesa. Now we are a party, as they say. Five's a party.
And actually, so yeah, it's
we're a pretty pathetic basketball team, but you know.
This is the part where we get our magic partners, or sorry, magic powers for our partner journey, right? And we're sent off to have our mystical.
Is that where you paint your
sales experience?
Trees? Is that where you paint your happy little trees and that look at that little, that's a bird. It's a mistake, but it's a beautiful mistake. Nothing's a mistake. I got it. I got it.
So let me ask this question, because what's unique about this scenario is both you guys, well, all three of you, both companies were competitors last year. So I'm just curious what traction you've gained, what things you've learned, and kind of tell me a little bit about that.
Well, for us, we launched our partner ecosystem early last year. We had been doing a little experimentation with the software prior to that, but we formal launch in the channel last year, and it was a lot of listening and learning. with our partners, right? And really understanding what do they need, how do they need things to be bundled? What success processes do they need from us so that they can then launch into their customer bases and succeed with those security sales? And at this point, things have really become somewhat of a machine, and we're very opinionated on what works because we have a bunch of partners and we've seen the partners that are doing great, and we get to share those experiences with the partners that are maybe still discovering. And so, just in terms of operational effectiveness in our onboarding and success, really a big improvement this year.
Awesome. Ian, how about you?
Yeah, sorry, can you repeat the question? I missed you cut out just as you asked the question.
Yeah, so last year you were competing with PitchIT in the PitchIT program, and so I'm just curious what you've learned from the PitchIT program to this year.
So I'm struggling to hear. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
We'll
Sean, maybe your audio?
I'll type it. Can you hear me, Ian? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Sean.
Perfect. That's better. That's better anyway, because Adam isn't that good.
Sean's better.
Breaking up, Adam. You're breaking up.
Bye, Adam. Oh my God! Don't do it. It's okay. You have other fine qualities, just not this. No. So the question was, you guys you competed last year in the PitchIT program, right?
That's right.
And you're back again this year. So a
Yeah.
couple things. One is, are you glutting for punishment? Is what Adam wanted to know. That's why you came back. And also, what did you learn? What were your takeaways from any improvements from last year that you brought into this year?
We've learned to be a bit more focused. We've learned, we hope, how to better articulate what we do to engage with our customers. And we've, since last year, when we launched the product in about October last year, and we've got our active users. It's been great that we've now got active users telling us, giving the market feedback, what do they want to see? How do we improve the platform for them? And it's how we articulate that message to the broader audience.
Awesome.
So it's
That's
been
good.
Great for getting us reach into a new community. So we're strong at the moment in Australasia, and now we want to take on North America.
Take on. I like that. Take on North America. Yeah, no, and I will attest to that because when I saw you guys at IT Nation Connect, you guys were very crisp in your messaging. You were pretty finite in what you guys do and what you deliver, which I think was a struggle point at first, because you guys, there's so many things you can talk about with what you all do. I mean, the sales process is hard to talk about in itself, let alone talking about a SaaS platform with a sales process.
And getKambium, it's almost like a Swiss Army knife of sales enablement tools.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the feedback we got is we were overwhelming people. And not getting over what is our core value.
No, I can see that.
Value is we help people ask the right questions.
Which is perfect. As a matter of fact, I just saw Jennifer Bleem is having her conference in Florida now, and one of the big topics was the discovery call. Like it's a struggle for a lot of people. I think most MSPs walk into a conversation. I don't even think I know because they're my friends, and they're like, I already know what the problem is, but that's not you can't. Yeah, you may be right. You may know 105% of what the problem is, but you still have to ask the questions because you have to be a consultant. You have to be a therapist. You have to ask the questions because they have to tell you so that they're being heard. And I think that's a struggle point. So that's important in this case. And
they have to have business conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Because in many organizations, the guys who have the IT budget aren't the IT guys anymore.
Right.
Businesses are changing so fast. So to be ahead of the curve, understand the business, understand where the business is going, understand their pain points, and align your services and stack to that business.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's talk more about the competition itself now, because that's what Adam really wants to know about because he likes digging in.
I love it. I mean, it's entrepreneur spirit, right? So it's like you're building businesses, you're creating it, you're working that craft. And I'm always really, I mean, Sean, you started going on the path and I was interrupted. Sorry.
No, go. I was teeing you off because I know you want to talk more about this also.
Well, it's part of like, I'll address this to Fort Mesa, Matt or Tim. What is some of the biggest challenges you've run into launching your company, right? And your software? What was the biggest challenge?
So we're gonna avoid talking about the elephant, COVID, right?
I'll take that
yeah.
one. I mean, so one of the biggest challenges, right? This concept of like compliance and frameworks like CIS controls. So I kind of led the PitchIT effort last year at Fort Mesa, and Sean, I think, we had some frank conversations like, Tim, I just don't understand what you do. Like, how do you, like, what is this compliance thing? Like, why do MSPs need to do it? Like, how do you deliver it? How do you fit it into their pricing model? Like, the objections are everywhere. So just resonating with the customer. A lot of it's been helped just because like a lot of evangelists in the market have really helped us kind of get that message out there. Insurance is, you can't get insurance because like you're not doing the right things. The FTC regulations, CMMC, like there's just a bunch of catalysts that kind of, we're getting this groundswell of like why you need to do compliance. So it makes sense. But at the same time, like our product's not perfect and we've had to iterate multiple times to make it easier for MSPs to understand like how they convey that value down to the end customer, which, what Ian was just talking about, and Jennifer Bleem did a gorgeous job, obviously, talking about the do's and don'ts of talking to customers. So that's where we, I think, really struggled. And that's where we've really taken our lumps and moved on and gotten better with it. But I think, of the 27 vendors, like at the end of the day, like you've got to sell the MSP who has to sell the customer, right? So that certainly was our biggest challenge, just because like this concept of compliance and shift left and left the boom and being proactive and not just set it and forget it tools. Like these are, we're getting into the people processes of like these conversations, and there's so many parallels between Ian's getKambium product and Fort Mesa. So
and I would say that, so that, yes, a lot of learning has been happening in channel, in the market, in the MSP market, everywhere they go, ConnectWise events, other types of meetups. Our competitors are talking about it. Insurers are talking about it. However, you know who's been hearing about it even before the MSPs? It's the small businesses and medium businesses. They've been receiving the compliance chant for the last 3, 4, 5 years, and they've been knocking on their MSPs' doors saying compliance, and the MSPs have been sort of scratching their head till now. But that also took time to build, that wave, right? It's coming from the regulators, it's coming from the insurers, it's pushing on the MSP's customers too, and they need solutions.
Agreed. I'll go one step further. I think the fact of the matter is, I talked at Secure last week, Larry Metter, which is in the competition, and from DataStream, and also Matt from Nodeware. So they did a talk with Matt Lee, and so they asked me to open up for them just to kick it off and MC it. And the one thing that became so, before even talking to them about it, and something that really came to fruition then that is the realization, is the fact that you're right. This has been happening for a long time in general. Like especially COVID, you mentioned, was the largest digitalization transformation in the history of it all. And so it led to a shitstorm of non-regulated stuff that they're like, oh my goodness, we better hurry and get this together. So compliance became a big deal, right? Now, the only difference is there wasn't companies like you guys that were setting that standard. It became the insurance companies that started setting the standard. And that was a good thing, because at least they started developing a checklist of things, right? And obviously it's they're money motivated, of course, they're a business, and insurance always is the end result, we know, for mostly everything we do right now, right? So it was smart they got involved, and they did it for their own best interest.
They did. And the other thing that's been happening is, there's been security standards from, really smart people that have been put together over the last 20, 30 years. And frankly, they weren't very good for the smallest half of the economy. If you were less than 1,000 employees, the standards were horrible until a few years ago. And it's taken a few years for the market to really realize, oh, these standards actually work for us now. And now the regulators are on board, insurers are getting on board and saying, look, just do the stuff the standards say for your type of business of your size.
Yep.
And, it's a perfect entry point for us, really.
I would agree. And then we'll flip it over to Ian again here. the question that Ahmed asked is like the challenges you guys had launching the product, getting out there to market. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Initially, it was explaining where we fitted, where we added value to the MSP, and MSPs were using, regardless of size, the processes that we have put into getKambium are processes that the MSPs were doing, but they're very random, haphazard. They were using Excel spreadsheets. They were different people in the business who were differently had their own approach, their own process. So it was trying to sell this common process and how it's going to add value to the business and why to spend the time in onboarding, which is very quick. You can onboard in a couple of hours. But it's really, it was getting people to change their practice. And one of the things we learned is, again, we do onboard training, and we try to cover off too much. So we just made it simple, bite-sized chunks. This is how you go and do a discovery interview with getKambium. This is how you put together your client report to make it work for your business. And this is how you develop the QBR.
Got it.
Making it easy, making it a simple process worked.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it. I feel like between both companies that we have on right now, you guys are in this really rough stage of the education of why it's so necessary, right? Mm-hmm. And it requires early adopters in a way. It requires a lot of, you mentioned the evangelist out there speaking about this stuff, and that's a struggle. It is. I know, because I did sales enablement for a long time and channel enablement when it was still infancy and it was such a problem, right? And I tell you why it was important. They knew they needed it. They just didn't know what they really needed. They just knew something. They're like, hey, we're missing this. What is it? And so I like the fact that we have you guys on together, because I feel like, well, first, you guys should be talking after this, by the way, and figuring out how to add this into. You should, because the reality is, if they're trying to get this to help, they're trying to help the end users, meaning Fort Mesa, the MSPs rather, to discuss these things, to have that conversation. That's a business conversation without talking about tech, right? And your actual offering is about not talking tech, but more of the business value prop. And so you guys, if you guys haven't connected, you make sure you guys do, seriously.
It's transforming that conversation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. and the time zone, Sean, honestly, we're getting a lot of interest out of Australia right now. It is a hot market. They have really woken up this year with their Essential 8 and other related standards. And it's a stretch for us to reach Australia. So,
I can imagine that. I mean, we know that Europe and Australia and whatnot were behind in some ways, but very much further ahead when it came to compliance and requirements. I mean, the GDPR piece and the SOC 2, GDPR especially, they made a big deal way back in the day. Even for data control was a big issue with the UK, especially Canada and Australia. They were dead serious about it. And I remember that going on years ago. So, I mean, it only makes sense. So, okay, with that now, so how do you guys feel about the competition this year?
Oh, well,
23. Carry on.
Clearly, we're gonna win, and getKambium's gonna come in second.
Bravo!
That was a good one.
What was the special jelly stuff? I think I want.
That was actually.
I want that.
That was the first time that's come up.
I'm afraid I missed that laugh, because I have to admit that the only person that I can actually hear in this conversation is Sean.
Which is the only person you need to hear. I am the gatekeeper and the keymaster. So with that said,
you're the guru.
We all love you, Sean. But
I'm feeling the love right now. So, okay. So the question was, how do you feel about how you're going to do in the competition this year? Matt said they're going to take first and you're taking second. That's what he said. So.
Well, people have these unrealistic expectations, I find that. But what we have learned, we're coming to competition this year up the learning curve. Well, up the learning curve.
Absolutely.
We've got an active user base, and they've been helping us develop the solution. We've added some features, functionality. We've got a stronger proposition. So that'll put us into number one.
I love it. I love it. Good.
And you have a really nice Scottish voice. So
I mean, yeah, you're
Are you
Scottish.
guys? Is there
Yeah,
is there a tie-breaking process? What happens if we both come in first?
There's,
I don't think
yeah,
that.
it's all,
That-
it's all
that's-
handbook.
that
Then I
That
base off
won't
of who gives me. If there's a tiebreaker, I say who gave me the best gift during the course of the season. That's not cool. No, there is a tiebreaker. We're good to go. But that's why we have 3 judges. Also, it's almost impossible with an odd number because the way they score, to have that. It's just, I mean, we haven't seen
Throw
it
it
yet,
out there.
thank God.
Well, you've got people just now scoring with getKambium. Talking to a client yesterday, working with four of his clients, used getKambium. They made 300 recommendations, developed $1.9 million in new revenue.
That's awesome. That is
Number one.
Yeah, that is that I think that's the reason to win the competition, to be honest. I mean, that's what honestly, if I were you, I would take that and develop a case study around it, which would also be my pitch.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Yeah.
Like, hey, why did you even talk to us? This is why I had to solve this problem. That answers one piece. Why did you decide to sign with us? Because it costs very little and I need to do it. What was the result? This was the result.
Yeah. You get paid back with one client.
I love that.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with Louis here. We're going to go with swimsuit and just throwing it out there. Louis is stepping his game up lately. So,
wow.
this is really good.
That actually is making me sweat. I'm a little nervous now. Don't anybody do that. So we're clear.
No, just, oh boy, I probably should have shared that. But anyway, we will get marketing. Will be on my ass. So don't worry about it. Anyway, let me ask this. It's a tough question I'm going to ask. In the landscape of security, since we were just at IT Nation Secure, awesome show, a lot of people, it was a blast. I always thought, we got to spend a night in Jason's McGee's suite, and I was going to capture an alligator and bring it up to his bathtub, but I didn't. I guess I was trying to think of how to get it out.
Either hangover?
Were the drinks free? I don't understand.
I was thinking hangover. All I could think of was hangover the whole night. I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to get an alligator up there. But anyway, it was an awesome show. So there is a massive amount of competition when it comes to security. And that's, I think, what's going to craft the next 5 years, right? And so Fort Mesa, what sets you guys apart from the competition? Because there's a lot. What acronym do you cover?
Well, so
I'm curious.
We're at the intersection of 2 product fields. So there's sales enablement tooling like getKambium, right? But we're focused on security, and we have like 3 arms really in that technical security realm, right? And so we're at the cross section of that sales enablement, right, for the MSP and the whole GRC market. And let me tell you, the GRC players out there, some of those tools are really
GRC is. Slow down.
Yeah, so governance, risk, and compliance, and there's some big capital been invested there. There's some great startups out there, and their model is predominantly go straight to the end customer. And yeah, maybe the channel partners can help, but they're basically in competition with the MSPs, right? So to have a GRC vendor that is saying, well, actually, we're here to support your practice, that's a bit of a differentiator. And to also, of course, have our product, rather than be just a security product or just a governance product, to really be focused on MSP needs. There's small things in our workflows that are just different enough from our competitors to make it a totally new product value space. And that's our differentiator, is really taking this technical security compliance stuff and making it relevant for an MSP.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Sean.
No,
I was just like, there's a lot to understand when it comes to security, and I love how you explained kind of the crossroads and help me understand it. And thank you for clarifying GRC, government regulation compliance.
Yeah,
programs.
I loved it. We have alphabet soup everywhere in this industry. It's amazing. Nobody knows what it means.
So yeah, a lot of people talk about like mapping your stack to CIS, which is like the standards, Adam. If you know CIS standards, we're the map. And then all those tools out there like fit on our map, if that helps.
Yeah.
Right? All those point solutions like password reset and MDR and all the products.
So would it be safe to say you have a symbiotic relationship with the insurance companies then?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Well,
well,
yeah.
they're insurance companies, so let's be clear. I understand nobody really has that, but
Yeah. So not a business relationship because that's illegal in the United States. But I will say that it is symbiotic because customers that are uninsurable need our product, and once they have our product, they become insurable. And so we get some inbound, both from insurance brokerage and carriers, but also through our partners. You know, from that, hey, this customer is uninsurable. What do we do about it, right? But the other, you know, it goes the other direction too, which is once a customer really receives, you know, a higher level of compliance from their MSP, they're then able to even acquire cyber insurance, which a few years ago you could just plunk down some cash on the table, you'd get cyber insurance. But that is no longer the case. You actually have to secure your house first.
Well, that I was going to just let's close it off. I was thinking as you were saying this, and as Tim was even saying it too, is that I think of the Progressive commercials, right? And they have all these things, right? So you guys are essentially the house. All the furniture inside for homeowners is covered because it brought into your house, which is the security piece of it. Yeah. And so now you're covered. As you put things in, that's all part of that stack. That's just as simple as I can think of it because it just made sense to me.
Or safe driving. You put those ODM, like the port and the GPS, like, is this guy driving like a jerk or not? Like,
yep.
We actually can provide the platform to the insurance company so they can kind of like babysit and watch the company as well. So that's another.
Yeah, we have a partner who their whole business is to get people that are already insured cheaper insurance, and they are cutting their clients' insurance premiums in half by telling a better story, and they're using our platform to do it. And you know, some of these policies, they could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, it depends on what type of coverage you're looking for. So
yeah,
it's a lot of money saved.
So Ian, you're muted right now, so you may want to unmute yourself. Perfect. The question for you is exactly the same, which is, you know, you guys are sales enablement, but you're QBR as well, right? Which are go hand in hand. What is your differentiator between all the other tools out there like this?
Well, as I said earlier, it's about the business conversation. It's about getting to the basics of ask the right questions, make the right recommendations for the business. For cybersecurity, we also have templates. So out of the box, you know, in Australia, for example, there's an Essential 8 template. So the MSP can go into the client, understand where they are in terms of the Essential 8 framework, their controls, what's being achieved, where the gaps are, build recommendations around that, build a roadmap to address their Essential 8 issues. And again, they have got a report, they have got an audit trail that they are developing their processes in accordance with the E8 standard. And it makes it easy, and it can integrate it into the broader business roadmap for the business.
Got it.
I think that's the key differentiator. It's our starting point is engage with the client, understand the client, their business priorities, and enable you to drive your services, your value aligned to that business need. And it's that transformation which I think makes us quite unique.
Got it. No, I appreciate that. I think so. One more question to follow up on that is, whenever you're dealing with this, are you also trying to help to ensure that you're enabling the full staff to have these conversations? Because it's never just the owner, even if it's owner-led sales MSP, it's still the staff. It's still the tech staff as well. Like they literally are having these conversations as well. Anybody that's client facing is having these conversations. So are you also helping to enable them to have these conversations?
Absolutely. Well, our users are, we've got users who are sole traders. We've got users who've got 3,000 employees.
Okay, wow.
And it's about, the core getKambium user is the customer facing, the business development guy, the account manager. But the technical team can log in. They can review recommendations. They can make recommendations so that everybody's making the standard proposal across their client base aligned to their stack. So it is bringing in people, all stakeholders, including CEOs.
Awesome. Okay, I'm done, Adam. I'm going to shut up now.
That was good. So one last question. We're going to wrap up a few minutes early here. So if you were to win the competition, what would you do the prize money? And so let's go with Fort Mesa. Let's hear what you guys do with the prize money.
Matt, you're on mute. Matt, you're on mute.
What is it? Is it 70,000? Is that the prize?
It's 70,000.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great conference party, I think. So it
Winner chicken dinner.
That was the best answer so far.
Right?
We want the big check, like in Happy Gilmore. We want to spend it right there.
yeah, and then we're gonna walk everyone. We're gonna walk everyone straight across the lobby to the nearest bar.
That's smart.
Pretty
I
awesome.
would.
I would join you.
That's very gracious of you, Adam, that you would join as well. That's nice.
Yes,
Awesome.
We'll find an alligator for you.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, well, we'll be in Florida, so it shouldn't be a problem. Ian, did you hear the question?
Yes, I did, and we would use the 70,000 to attend probably the ConnectWise IT Nation in 2024, and to develop our customer advisory group in North America. It's been
Nice.
really working for us, getting that customer feedback. So making sure that we've got customer engagement in developing our solution.
Nice.
I love it. I think I love how one's having a party and the other one's fiscally conservative. Just want to point that out. One's like Animal House, and the other one's like, we have to think about the future.
Well, I'm Scottish.
We're in the channel, Sean. This is reality. Like,
yeah.
Well, no, I can't say one's good or bad. I can see value in both. And I think I feel like at the end of it that Ian's going to have to probably babysit you, Matt, and take you in under his wing when you're like, I got so drunk, I lost everything last night.
I don't think you can actually spend $70,000 on a party in a room. I mean, that would be
at the bar. You could.
That wouldn't be a problem.
This is
challenge accepted. Let's go. Let's start a fundraiser for an after party. We can spend. It's like Bruce's
look. If there's any left over, I mean, clearly, I guess we could
have another party.
We can have another party.
Right. Well, you figure day one of IT Nation Connected when this all goes down, then. So you could literally have a party each day if you really wanted to somewhere. I could spend 70 grand in one night. I think I could.
Yeah, I mean, there's always
on a bar.
3,000 people.
Party buses, Adam.
People. If 4,000 people came and had just one drink at the price of those at these places, my lord, I think I'd be okay.
Well, we're lucky IT Nation's not in Vegas, really.
Being in Denver just now, it's been really cool to see how the Denver Nuggets fans party.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
You probably have weed in the air and everything.
It's a happy place.
And I think the parade's on this morning.
It is.
I would love it. See, I want to be in Denver. Anyway, enough of that. So, anything else we want to talk about, Adam? Because I know we got to wrap up.
Yes, for sure. Fort Mesa, Matt or Tim, closing thoughts right now.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. We're excited.
Sell us on your stuff.
Tim, why don't you take it? I think I used up my answer already.
I think we have a convincing value prop in the market right now. We're really excited for PitchIT. PitchIT's been amazing. Like just the cohort, learning from them. We're marketing in the right places, right? Like Vanahi, who was in the top 3 last year, like their marketing strategy, like the top 3, top 4, top 5 last year. We really learned a lot from them. We've learned a lot from the advisors, the people that come on every week. We're really positioned and everything, just the timing is right. So we're excited to put on a good pitch. And Adam, thanks for having us.
Awesome. It's always been a pleasure. And Ian, I don't know if you heard me, but
I heard you. I actually heard you now. Yeah. Looking forward to PitchIT, obviously. We had a great session in the ConnectWise IT Nation Evolve sales group yesterday. We were talking to 8 MSPs about our solution, that getting their feedback, getting their thoughts. And the end of the session, 9 out of 9 put their hands up and said, yeah, we can see getKambium adding value to our business. So we need to use PitchIT to drive that message.
Well, you should be pushing all those people to watch and be involved in PitchIT. Any partner you ever watch or involved in, you should have them engaged because they can see you guys in action, and also they'll tell friends. and friends are their MSPs, and then they get to see that you may not have met. You should leverage that. I would.
Testimonials.
Yeah, who knows? What company might acquire you guys? I mean, 33% of companies got acquired last year.
That's correct. That is correct. That is correct. Seriously,
I have an audience that's watching.
Yes.
Yeah. Sean can pick them. It means he's picking winners.
Yeah. For sure.
I got to be good at something.
Closing thoughts. Well, there it is, right there. You got to be good at something. So, closing thoughts.
No, closing thoughts are simple. Last year I started with the PitchIT program last year, and like between Andrea and Louie and Ashley and my team on this side, we did a very good job last year for sure. But this year we've jumped leaps and bounds already. I feel like you guys have, especially talking to both you companies, you guys have done infinitely better than you did last year as far as refining what you say, which is a testament to showing that this is actually working, which was important, right? It wasn't about giving away $70,000. It wasn't about just being able to do these things. It was about honing in on skills of people, of companies, making them more viable in the space, and having you guys have individual success. Because let's be honest, ConnectWise has enough money; they're fine. We're doing just fine. Okay, it's about you guys, but we can always have more, right? But it's more about the success of all of you individually doing this and contributing to the space. So I'm happy to see you guys have done better. And Tim is absolutely correct. I called him one day. I said, I don't know what the hell you guys do still. I've tried to figure it out. And he was able to convey it, which was great, right? So, just keep pushing with this. Invite all of your friends to watch his stuff. This is the best way for you guys to get your name out there because, again, friends tell friends, so use it to your advantage. And I'm done.
This year we're cooking. Yep.
Awesome, Sean. Thank you very much. As usual, every week, usually about Wednesday, usually at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're a little early because I have an executive retreat I got to get to. But it's always been a pleasure. It's awesome seeing you guys again. It's awesome seeing the companies grow. You guys are going to kick ass this year. And it's going to be a blast. I love being part of the PitchIT program, seeing the innovation, and really pushing the boundaries and learning and growing as an organization. So super awesome to see you guys. Appreciate it. Until next week, peace out. Later, guys.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Kudos.